Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little reaction video on this event that took place actually not too far from where I'm known to roam. I've actually been in this little liquor store here. So let's get into this and see what's going on here.
Community is just absolutely in such support of this gentleman here, Craig Cope. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we'll start right away because we don't have a lot of time. But when this happened to you on Sunday, and you saw them coming in that door with that weapon that appeared to be an AR-15, What were your thoughts?
There wasn't much time to think about it. It was just the guy pointed the gun directly at me. Then it's him or me.
You acted right away. Frankly, if it had been me, I'd probably be dead. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd freeze. But you knew.
And yeah, I'm not going to give him the chance. I mean, if I recognize the weapon, that's a semi-automatic gun.
I gotta touch on this right here. He knew what to do. Yeah, he shot. He fucking aimed and shot. That's what he did. And this comes down to AR versus shotgun too, and part of the reason why I love shotguns so much. AR's good. I got an AR, but this is a prime example. He aimed, shot, and damn near blew the guy's arm off from what he was saying when he was the robber when he was trying to get back into the car. But what I find even more disturbing is this reporter. I wouldn't know what to do. I would have just froze. Yeah, and they perpetuate this idea that you don't need to protect yourself. You just wait for the cops. But yet, they're saying how much in support people are of this old man because he did defend himself. Yeah, very bizarre world we live in these days.
Fast you can pull the trigger. Maybe someone converts to automatic. It's equivalent of a machine gun. I'm not going to let him get the first shot off at that point.
The reaction, not just here in Norco, but in Southern California, has been incredible. People and business owners who say, we are so tired of this crime wave. We are so glad that you defended your business.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I did anything that somebody else wouldn't have done, but two things. We need more people to stand up, but more than that, probably get on the wrong side of some people here, but the politicians, there's people out there that are not the best of people. There's people that choose to be burglars. There's people that choose to be armed robbers. And I had one guy one time, he told me specifically he was a burglar. I mean, I had him in handcuffs. He was going to jail, and he's talking to me. He's a burglar. He says, that's what I do. He says, I wait till it gets dark and I go burglarize places. So these people that can continually get let out now, it's been really bad the last year. Those people, the majority of them, are going to go right back to what they used to do. So the crime rate is escalating, and it's going to continue to escalate
Until people start to protect themselves. Because that guy, as a burglar, wouldn't get anything if every time he broke into a place, people just let him take stuff, or instead of people just letting him take their stuff, they shot the motherfucker. It's pretty simple. Just pop a couple caps in his ass and be done with it.
they start putting the people away that are doing the bad things. And as far as here and my place, um, it wouldn't have done any good to call the local sheriffs. They can't get here that quick. This whole thing, from the time I saw them coming around the side of the building to coming in the door, and what happened, 10 seconds. The actual thing from when he pointed his gun at me, half, three-quarters of a second, because I'm not waiting. When you point that gun directly at me and you're that close to me and I see what you're carrying, I'm not waiting.
Now, you saw them in the parking lot, and the first step.
Yeah, that's a big point right there. If somebody points a gun at you, don't wait. Just draw and shoot. Fire on them. There's no two ways about it. It's about protecting your life.
off was when he put his mask over his face?
First tip off, I saw him through the front door drive into this parking lot. But they didn't park where a normal person would park. So that was a red flag. Then they parked on the side of the building where they're basically out of sight. That was the second red flag. When I looked and saw them getting out of the vehicle, they got gloves, masks, a weapon. That just solidified the deal for me. I knew what was coming.
Now, right after the shooting, you got sick. You had a heart attack. How are you doing?
As far as I know, I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better than I was that night.
What's traumatic?
Yeah, I don't know what caused it. Maybe.
The old man had a mild heart attack and ended up going to the hospital after this, which, yeah, it could have been just because he's old, a little bit of an adrenaline rush, I would imagine, more than anything else. The fact that he actually shot the guy. There may have been a bit of a blood trail because the guy kept saying in the one video from outside the store there that he shot my fucking arm off. He shot my fucking arm off. So I'm pretty sure there's some damage. I'm pretty sure there was some bleeding because he ended up in the hospital.
I'm just old.
Well, you're 80 years old, and we're all in shock and just amazed at how you reacted in such an intense moment with that man walking in with that weapon. What's your advice to business owners who are just so fed up with this crime?
Okay, yeah, you can do what I did, but what you really need to do is put some pressure on the politicians because they got no clue what's really going on out here in the real world.
No, actually, I completely disagree. It's not putting politicians, our pressure on politicians isn't going to fix any fucking thing. Now, what needs to happen is more people need to be like him and fucking defend themselves, and shit would change. It doesn't matter. You could refund the police, you could triple fund the police, and you're still not going to have enough cops to be everywhere whenever a crime happens. And the reason why cops very rarely ever stop crime is because they're usually somewhere else and it takes several minutes for them to get to whatever event has just taken place. Kind of a catch-22, I guess, or a conundrum, however you want to put it, because it would seem that, you know, if you don't defend yourself, you could become a victim. It's really simple. And, of course, in this situation, one bullet versus, who knows, it looked like the old man probably had buckshot in the shotgun because of the way it sprayed material all over the place. Hard to say for sure, but I would imagine. And, yeah, if he had buckshot or something similar, yeah, he could have very well blown the guy's arm off. And versus one bullet, a lot of damage can be done by a shotgun. Anyway.
I could start naming names, but there's a whole lot of them that are creating major problems for business owners, but for local law enforcement, they're creating problems for them. I'm sure they go out and risk their lives taking people into custody to see them get let out with no bail.
And the names he doesn't want to name are probably somebody such as Gavin Newsom here in California that has pretty much done everything he can possible to ruin the state and make a complete mockery of everything. And I say by the state, the so-called infrastructure, the running thereof, so to speak. Yeah, it seems to be a complete shambles.
And a lot of these people are career criminals. I'm not talking about the guy that goofed up one time, made one mistake. I'm talking about the career criminals. They're career criminals. They need to be locked up.
So, if this were to happen again, you would not hesitate?
No.
Your message to the bad guys?
This isn't a good place to pick.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't a good place to pick. So anybody thinking about it, not a good idea. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
And there's only one reason. There's only one reason why it's not a good place to pick. Because the motherfucker will shoot your ass. simply put, this whole gun ban issues getting so out of control these days, and here we have a situation where had this old man not had a gun, criminals can get guns wherever the fuck they want. This old man had a so-called legally owned, legally bought, purchased gun, and he used it to defend himself and his so-called property. So, yeah, seems to me that we've got an awful lot of uh, problems out there when it comes to the so-called politicians. That would definitely be sure. But of course, if any of you listen to my recordings on Active 1871, you know a little bit more about that, so you understand why it's all a bunch of bullshit anyway. So anyway, that's it for this one. Kind of kept it short and sweet, but the reality of it is, arm yourself. Be aware. Don't be like this fucking reporter here where you would freeze and end up potentially being shot and killed. Be like this old man. In fact, this old man, at one point they asked him, how did he get so good at his shot? Well, his old man lived back in the country, didn't have a lot of money for food, bullets were expensive, so you go out with a single shot 22 and get probably a lot of squirrels. Probably fucking hunted squirrels a lot. Got good at putting fucking small shots on small dots. Yeah, get good at that, and you won't have any problems. As long as you're armed, you're gonna be okay. That's it for now, guys. See you soon.